Hi everyone. My name is Brian Knight. I'm a certified weight loss coach, and I help kingdom-driven dads to lose weight so that they can feel amazing and serve others at their best. I'm extremely excited about today's video. The topic just came to me spontaneously. Sometimes I have topics planned out, but I usually like to just kind of go on the fly. Whatever I'm dealing with at that time is usually a great topic I like to spend time on with. So today, turn off your body's hunger signals. As many of you may know, I'm trying to lose my last 10 pounds on my body. It's just kind of hanging around there, and I'm just done with it. And so I've been pulling out everything I know to try to get this last 10 pounds off. And so one of the things is I feel like I need to eat all the time, but I'm not really hungry. So I've been thinking about that a lot, and I know that a lot of you guys struggle with it, and most of my clients struggle with that. One of the first things I want to talk about is fasting. Fasting is just amazing. It has so many health benefits. It's kind of tough to get going, and there's a lot of concerns. Like starting out, but once you get going, you're simply just saying to yourself, "I got this," and it just turns off those hunger signals. And we really don't need to eat all the time. And so, one of the things that my clients have brought up to me that I wanted to clarify on this video is that, there's this big thing out there that you need to fast with doing intermittent fasting or time restricted eating, that I need to fast 16 hours a day and then eat in an 8-hour window starting out. And that's not true. You can do whatever you want to do to start out and then build up to whatever works for you. You can start off with 12 hours of fasting and eating within a 12-hour window. That is perfectly fine to start with. And then you could move it up to a 10 hours of eating and 14 hours of fasting, and then eating within an 8-hour window and fasting in a 16-hour window. Or you could do something like this, and every now and then you could do a 2 to 3 day fast with like water or bulletproof coffee. What I was getting ready, going to mention in this video in a minute, because coffee, butter, those different things, they can really suppress the hunger signals and really supercharge your ability to fast. That brings me to the next topic, and that's having more fat in your diet. That will keep you satiated, turn off those hunger signals, make you feel full and satisfied. What are some examples of fat? We hear so much about, fat really gets a bad rap in our society these days. And there's a lot behind that. And that will be for another video. Of course, that could take an hour. But I wanted to give you some examples of foods that you can include in your diet that have healthy fats that you can start right now and turn off those hunger signals today. And that would be more butter. Make sure you get a high quality butter that's real butter, not margarine, like a Kerrygold butter, that has cream as the first ingredient. So, butter, beef, you don't want lean beef, you want high fat beef. Now, with high fat beef, it would be preferential for you to get grass fed beef. But if you're just getting beef in your diet, we'll start there. That's a great start right there. And you could use tallow. You could use that to cook with. That's a great thing. Or you could use coconut oil to cook with as well. Use full fat dairy, organic if you would be best. And then you can use coconut oil. They have the liquid coconut oil in like Walmart, and you could sprinkle that on your whatever you're eating. It's tasteless. It does not taste like coconut, and it's easy to add to any of your food. Just be sparing with it at first, and or you may find yourself needing to go to the bathroom, if you know what I mean. And so just be gentle on that at first. And probably with fat in your diet, if you're on a low fat diet and you switch to a high fat diet, you want to do that slowly. So, next, I want to talk about your mind. And this is so critical, especially when working with my clients. And I want you to ask yourself, when you have those cravings and you need to eat something, and you're surprised that you already need to be eating something, I want you to think about it. Am I physically hungry or am I emotionally hungry? And yesterday's video, I talked about emotional eating, and that goes more into depth what emotional eating is. If you're physically hungry, usually that's like, I feel kind of weak. I'm really hungry in my belly, and I haven't eaten in a while. That's physically hungry. But if you really just aren't hungry at your, when you think about your belly, I feel good. I'm not hypoglycemic. I'm not shaky or anything. Then you might be emotionally hungry, and that means that you're wanting to eat, but your body really doesn't need to eat. So that's an important distinction to make when you're feeling the need to eat. Also, I almost left this one out because I have eliminated most sugar out of my diet these days, and but this is an important thing to cover, is you need to eliminate sugar as much as possible. Now, I know that you've heard this from the rooftops, but why? Well, when you have sugar in your diet, it raises your blood sugar, and then when your body is burning glucose, and that glucose is all depleted, and your blood sugar drops. Well, when you get that, it's kind of like this, and when you get to that low point, it's going to stimulate your hunger signals to your body. And right now, we want to turn off your body's hunger signals. So by having a more flat line, which is done with having more fat in your diet and keeping the sugar out of your diet so you don't have those highs and lows, that will allow you to not have those hunger cravings come on. So, another thing that my clients struggle with is what has sugar in it. They think it's basically candies and chocolates and stuff like that. No, there's more. I want you to be thinking about anything with bread, anything with pasta, cakes, candies, obviously. But there's a lot of people that will have a sandwich and they think that's not sugar. But the bread on there is, and that is going to give your body a blood sugar raise and a decrease eventually. If you don't have enough fat with that sugar, then your blood sugar is going to be a roller coaster. Also, I want to mention that boredom often makes us want to crave sugar or to eat. So stay busy. Also, you want to keep trigger foods out of your house. So when you do get bored, you don't have something that you're thinking about in the cupboard. You don't have to necessarily lock your cupboards or lock your refrigerator. So, if all this seems overwhelming and it's a lot of information, then feel free to send me a direct message, or you can go to my website at brianjknight.com and sign up for a free call with me. So just send me a message and just tell me, that you need some extra help, and we can set up a call where we can talk about your obstacles and struggles, what your goals are, and how we can get you there collaboratively. And so I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video.